Welcome back, everyone. No new photos to show on this side, but I did replace D-Dog with his fox-like cousin. Has a functional eye too. And over here on this side of the wall, we got a new picture of D-Walker here, the few design specs. Now, I did say that I would use D-Walker next mission. I lied. Sorry, guys. Today's mission is going to be Lingua Franca. It's a another one of those infamous missions in this game.
Accepted. Heading to Central Africa.
Several high-level British CFA officials are being held by their Afrikaner colleagues. One of these prisoners is the rescue target, a guy known as the Viscount. The target's location is unknown. They're bound to have an interpreter present when they interrogate him. We've used info from the intel unit to predict the interpreter's location. It's on your iDroid. Follow the interpreter and extract the target when you find him.
So this mission is infamous because, for two reasons. One, you're walking around a lot. For another, it can be extremely buggy. And we'll see the bugginess here with the few liberal cuts that I made.
Be careful down there, boss!
And I don't think I've mentioned it before, but I've also changed up the four-wheeler here. You could give paint jobs to your different vehicles. And right off the bat, I've already screwed up in trying to do all these side ops here. I decided to kind of screw around a bit, take a few extra seconds too long.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Thankfully, vehicles being just jetting out from nowhere doesn't alert the guards.
Found the interpreter.
Has been updated.
Now follow him to the target.
An enemy presence detected. The map has
So yes,
been
there is an
analysis.
Afrikaans interpreter in this mission.
That's not the target.
Analysis.
Orders are only the Viscount gets rescued. Can't understand why he received special treatment,
Analysis
but I don't
complete.
imagine it'll be a problem to save the other prisoners too.
Also, here's my screw up, is that I didn't stop and listen to those 4 guards for one of the side ops. There's several times where they have a conversation with the prisoners, and you have to fully listen to the entire conversation. You can't do what I did and not do anything.
Analysis
But I don't
complete.
imagine it'll be a problem to save the other prisoners too.
Thing is, with this one, I also didn't think it counted because it's like a complete non-interrogation. It's basically the guard coming up saying, hey, so we only do with this prisoner. The other guy saying, just put him with the other woman and we'll interrogate them both together. Also, with my cuts, that is from footage post-mission where I extracted the Afrikaans interpreter, so...
CFA are all business. Hard to believe they're interrogating their own. Situation must be worse than we thought. Make a wrong move, and they could kill the target without warning.
So we'll be able to tell what the guards are saying, even though I don't have the interpreter yet.
Afrikaans is the lingua franca for mercs in that area. If you're going to get any information from interrogations, you'll need an interpreter. But don't extract the interpreter just yet. If he doesn't turn up, they won't be able to do the interrogation. If they then decide the target's no longer any use to them, they won't hesitate to kill him.
So yeah, spoilers, I will extract the Afrikaans interpreter at some point at the end of this mission. So yeah, there's, like I've said, a lot of walking around. I'm only doing 3 times speed instead of my usual 5 times just because this is a new area. Let us get a good look without standing around too long doing nothing. Here's the second prisoner.
Analysis
If we
complete.
interrupted the very first prisoner that we saw at the beginning of the mission, we wouldn't be able to fire off the prisoner after this guy. That's another thing. There's a lot of script breaking that can happen during this mission. But we're gonna go ahead and give ourselves a little cut.
Stop! Het ging door de laatste kans.
This is your last chance.
Die MPLA se olieveldregte. Waar het die inligting vandaan gekom?
The MPLA's oil field rights. Where did you get this information?
I told you. I only know it was an anonymous source.
Dit was 'n anonieme bron.
Moenie my vir 'n poepel vat nie.
You're not fooling anybody.
Ask any of the others. Nobody knows anything.
Hy sê jy moet die ander probeer vra.
O, so hulle het saam 'n storie opgemaak. Dit is hoekom jy nie die Britte kan vertrou nie. Weet jy hoeveel Afrikaners sit onder die hele gelei tydens die Boereoorlog?
You made up a story with the others. You British are all liars. You know how much the Afrikaners suffered because of you in the Boer War.
That wasn't me.
Hy sê dit was nie hy nie.
Maar dit was julle wat ons verraai het.
But it was you that betrayed us.
It wasn't me. It was the Viscount.
Genoeg! As jy niks weet nie, is ons seker klaar hier.
Something else here that's kind of funny is that guy was nowhere close.
Rescue target was behind some kind of plot.
The guy was nowhere close to the other guy when he popped him in the face.
Careful not to draw the enemy's attention.
Also, for whatever reason in this mission, Ocelot, every time you draw out your weapon, well, the first time you draw out your weapon, Ocelot will tell you to be careful.
Boss, I did some digging, and it seems the target himself gave us this mission through a representative. Obviously, he couldn't contact us directly due to his predicament, but still, something about this Viscount doesn't add up.
It's almost as if the game's kind of admitting that this mission's slightly buggy. So, on my other playthrough, I'm getting all the...
It wasn't the target, but we did get some information. Seems the prisoners aren't held together, and the cells and interrogation rooms are separate places.
So in the other playthrough, I'm not saving the prisoners because extracting prisoners, even if they're no longer being used, can break the scripting in this game. Yeah, this mission is rather infamous for its script breaking bugs. Now there's another side off here that we need to do. You see those containers over here to our left. We need to, according to the side ops, extract one of them. So I'll be saving that for the end of the mission, so I don't accidentally alert any of the guards in the current area. Something rather, well, not so funny in my alternate playthrough was that for whatever reason, these two prisoners would not be interrogated. They would just kill them as soon as I came over here, and I had to restart the entire mission to fix the scripting. Also, one of the prisoners here is always a female, so if you want to try and get yourself a female guard to play as, this is one mission you can do.
Nou kan julle albei met my gesels. Waar het julle die inligting oor die MPLA se olieveldregte gekry?
Now you will both talk. Where did you get the information on the MPLA's oil field rights?
We don't know anything. I swear.
Hy sê hy sweer hy weet van niks.
Believe us.
So jy verwag van my om te glo. Jy het die MPLA gekontak op inligting van 'n anonieme bron.
You mean you attempted to contact the MPLA based on information from an unknown source?
We thought it was suspicious, sure. But we stood to make a lot of money out of it.
Dit was verdag, maar hulle wou 'n wins maak.
We're businessmen.
Ons is sakemanne.
Sakemanne. Jy grap seker. Gefaalde hier soldate wat die land probeer kaalstroop.
You're a joke, not businessmen. Failed mercenaries trying to skin this country.
We didn't try to hide anything. The Viscount said to keep quiet for now. That's all.
Sy sê hulle het nie bedoel om iets weg te steek nie, maar die burggraaf het hulle stilgehou.
Ha, dis als die burggraaf se skuld. Goed. Die burggraaf kan ons die res vertel.
En 'n Viscount can tell us the rest.
Wait, she had nothing to do with this.
Moenie bekommerd wees nie. Die hel is groot genoeg vir julle albei.
Man, that commander has some reach with his rifle. He could be standing 3 feet away from a guy and can still slug him in the face. So rescuing these two prisoners is kind of a pain in the ass. As a side note, the main reason why I cut to not only to a separate playthrough because of the script breaking, but also because when I was listening in on the conversations on this playthrough, if you can hear when Snake's in stealth mode, he breathes really heavily. So whenever I was listening in on the conversations, you just hear Snake's deep breaths in the background. I'm sure some people would have enjoyed hearing that, but it got really annoying really fast. So yeah, going back to extracting these prisoners, real pain in the ass because there's so many guards here, and this is a pretty high traffic area. So we'll do the trick where, you know, try to shoot all the guards in the chest. I didn't mean to get a headshot on that guy, but screw it.
Hey, you okay?
And there we go, one by one. Bop, bop, bop. Luckily those guards over there are asleep, so now it's just a rush to extract every single one of these guys, including the guards. I'm pretty sure if the guards wake up, they'll scream out that the prisoners are missing.
You're all right.
There's also another side ops that needs to be done around this spot.
The prisoner wasn't the target either. We got some more information though. This most recent prisoner wasn't the target either, but we did learn the target's field of movement.
Also, extracting the prisoners gives you little tidbits that can help find the Viscount beforehand. But anyways, that building behind me, that little cabin with the sleeping guard in it, has the next side off inside of it. Though it took me a bit to figure out where I needed to go. I had to take a break real quick and look it up online, hence the very awkward cut right there. And once again, even though I have D-Dog with me, I still get tripped up by the decoys.
If you run into trouble, give us a call. We may be able to offer some advice.
Now this is the one time when calling by codec does help out. If you do call Ocelot, he says, why don't you try checking indoors, and you'll actually get a marker into this building right here showing you to an intel file that you can pick up. This building also has the radio equipment if you need to blow that up for some reason. There's also a blueprint right next to the file.
This is a list of prisoner detainment locations.
Obtained.
At this point, it's kind of pointless in finding the other prisoners because
You called that thing Sahelanthropus. Where does the name come from?
Well, several years ago, an excavation team discovered a hominid skull in the Sahel region.
Central Africa, the Southern Sahara.
Cypher gave the specimen the name Sahelanthropus, man of Sahel. And then they covered the whole thing up.
Why?
They probably wanted to monopolize information about human evolution to have a head start in their genetic research. At least, until they had an idea of what they'd found.
It was that big of a discovery, huh?
Sahelanthropus was a gracile hominid, estimated to have lived about 7 million years ago. What's significant about it is how its skull's foramen magnum faces down. In other words, its spinal column supported its head from underneath.
It stood upright.
Right. Which would mean Sahelanthropus walked upright 3 million years before Australopithecus, making it the world's oldest human species.
Walking upright. I get it. Hence the name Sahelanthropus for your machine.
Walking upright was the decisive difference between our ancestors and other anthropoids. Our brains could get heavier once they were supported by the spinal column. That led to the use of tools and the development of complex communication through language. Only man is capable of this. My creation will be the progenitor of all bipedal weapon platforms.
And you did this for Cypher.
No, not at all. Sahelanthropus is the best proof that I never betrayed you guys.
What do you mean?
The reconstructed Sahelanthropus skull looked exactly like the skull we used as our logo 9 years ago in the Caribbean.
An army without a nation. Outside the world order.
The design was based on Pangaea, the supercontinent that existed 250 million years ago, right?
Yeah.
when the world was a single landmass. That concept's at the source of our strength.
I felt the same way about Sahelanthropus. Sure, I was forced to build it under their orders, but I always wanted to put its technology back in our hands someday. That's the reason I incorporated the old insignia into Sahelanthropus's name. Don't you see? That's how much I was thinking about you guys.
Oh, I see, all right. I see someone desperate to cover his ass. You can say whatever you want after the fact. But that skull also symbolizes somebody else. Skullface.
Snake, you finally came. Just don't record this, okay?
Not recording anything. What's this about?
What I'm about to say stays between you and me. It's about the weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Do you know a researcher by the name of Clark? He works in the biotech industry, real advanced stuff. His area is bioengineering, but lately he's also gotten into genetic research.
Never heard of him.
Well then, what do you know about cloning?
I think I've heard enough.
Hold on, this is important. Cloning lets you create a genetic copy of an organism. You take the nucleus of one of its cells, and you swap it with the nucleus of an unfertilized egg from another member of the same species. They started out working with plants, but since then they've had success with other organisms, including mammals. It's a hot area for a lot of places right now. Corporations, universities, research groups. There's no shortage of scientists out to get famous and patent their work, with morality taking a back seat.
Isn't that a little outside your field?
It's got nothing to do with my research. But I thought it might be of interest to you. Cloning, and Dr. Clark, I mean.
Go on.
Now, this is really highly classified stuff. But I've heard that an American biotech company has successfully cloned a human being. What's more, it happened over 10 years ago. And the researcher behind it was Dr. Clark. You've really never heard of him?
I don't meet many doctors.
This Dr. Clark is a complete ghost, even to others in his field. His age, where he comes from, that might not be his real name. And I can't even say for sure he's a he. Clark's employer, ATGC, its company motto is embracing your hopes, preserving talent.
What does this have to do with me?
Cypher.
So, as I was saying, that intel file is kind of pointless when you get it because you're right next to 2 of the 4 prisoners. One of them you see here in the beginning, and the 4th one's the Viscount.
Was het jou laat wag?
Sorry we kept you waiting.
You're gonna kill me anyway.
Hy sê jy gaan hom in elk geval dood.
Miskien nie. Afhangende van wat jy met vertel.
Maybe not, depending on what you tell me.
We don't know the informant's identity.
Hy sê hulle weet nie wie die informant is.
Oh, ek vind dit baie moeilik om te glo.
He does not believe you.
Maar as jy so graag die emmer wil skop, wie's ek om te steur?
If you want to die, we will make it happen.
Nooit met die Britte gewerk het nie.
We never should have worked with the Brits.
A nationalist.
Is jy 'n nasionalis?
Apartheid's on its last legs already. Get with the times.
Apartheid is besig om tot 'n einde te kom.
Dis die arrogansie van 'n verraaier.
That is some attitude from a traitor.
What am I supposed to say? Trust me?
Hy verwag nie dat jy hom moet vertrou nie.
But how about we make a deal?
Hy sê hy wil probeer om 'n ooreenkoms te sluit.
Daardie deur is reeds toe.
That door is closed already.
Wait!
Oh, you back.
This, it took me 3 times to get this damn, secondary ops taken care of. Even though the second time I've done it, and I listened to everything perfectly fine, it did not count. So hey, let's, go with our old buddy, the smoke grenade. Just chuck it right inside of that crack. There we go. Oh, fuck, and I missed. And damn, these guys got really good at getting out of the way of grenades. I was kind of hoping that that guy was the one who was on the radio, but I was wrong. And there goes my stealth run through. Everything always gets fucked up at the very end. But as we can see there, smoke's pretty potent because it phased through the wall. I mean, I guess it could have gone through the window or through the cracks in the ceiling, but I'm pretty sure the smoke just went through the wall. And yep, there we go, caught. Great. Yeah, I was not happy at this point. I was so pissed off. But I didn't want to run through the game again. Each run through, without cuts, it takes like 25 minutes just following the interrogator around.
I thought I was dead for sure.
But yep, everything goes wrong at the end. Now, something I like to note is that there are actually 2 endings to this, depending on if you extract other guards or not. Not other guards, other prisoners. And once again, as I said earlier, one of the side ops is extracting a container. That's what the description says in the game. It says to extract a container. So I've extracted this one. I've extracted this one too, because, spoilers, on my other playthrough, I did not get the thing. There are 4 containers that you can possibly extract. And I have just extracted all 4 of them, and they did not work. Looking up online, this game's bugginess, not just with the prisoners, but apparently, even though the game says a container, you need to extract all 4 in the same mission. But at the end of the mission, Ocelot also suggests extracting the interpreter. I had to do this in an alternate run-through because I thoroughly fucked up the interpreter on my first run-through.
All you need to do now is exfiltrate the hot zone.
And there we go, mission complete.
The map has been updated. Extraction arrived at
Yeah,
the
this
base.
mission, I didn't like it. When it comes to having to show everything off, it's extremely buggy.
Yes, mission complete. Boss, that was exceptional.
And has a rather high requirement for an S rank, I feel, considering I did everything and only got an A.
Boss, now that the Viscount is no longer with the CFA, he says he wants to work for us. Something about him bugs me, but he did pay us for the contract, and he'll probably come in useful for something. See if you can find a place for him. According to the Viscount, the CFA planned to switch sides from the United Rebels to support the MPLA government forces in exchange for oil field rights. Boss, one of the other British prisoners filled us in about the Viscount. It turns out he's a real two-faced son of a bitch. He was planning to secure the MPLA's oil field rights for himself in exchange for swapping the CFA's alliance from the anti-government United Rebels to the state-backed MPLA. He hid this from the Afrikaners, but once he thought the jig was up, he tried to pin it on the other British personnel and take off. The Afrikaners captured him, and that was when he asked us to rescue him, and only him. I'll throw him in the brig for now, but we may have to be extra persuasive with this one. By the way, boss, we got some interesting news out of our friend the Viscount. He mentioned that more than a few PFs in the region have purchased walker gears. The CFA's the same. That's Soviet Army technology, and it's still a prototype. Only Cypher could be leaking it to the PFs. But the question is, why?
So yeah, the Viscount was an asshole.
One of the latest missions to come in is connected to the walker gears. This could be our chance to close in on Cypher. Take a look at your mission list.
Sure, let's take a look at the side mission list. We got a yellow one on there. Visit Quiet, huh? Let's go check her out. It's been a while. Oh, hey Ocelot. That's a perfect posture you got there. Did the game freeze up? Oh.
She, refuses to wear clothes. The last staff member who tried to dress her, breathing through tubes. Other than that, she's completely cooperative. She understands English. She never speaks, sweats, or breathes.
What?
Well, not with lungs, at least. She breathes through her skin. Clothing would suffocate her. Showers are okay, but she can't be submerged.
What's wrong with her?
She's drinking through her skin.
She's okay?
She's okay. She just can't move when she's taking in water. Look. See that? She hasn't eaten a thing since she got here.
She doesn't eat either?
Never. It's photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis? That's the verdict from the medical staff?
No, the jury's still out. It's the only explanation for what we've seen. The GRU had a man with that ability in its Cobra unit. Now, we don't think she's contagious, but some of the staff can't stomach her. It's starting to affect morale.
Can't you send her on a mission?
By herself? No. But as you know, she does have skill. Why not take her out on one of your missions? She seems to like you. Of course, only if you think she'll be useful. Next time you go out, you keep her in mind.
I'm sorry about DD's panting, but I'm pretty sure there's some nerd out there who's doing the exact same thing during that cutscene.
That won't work on me. I've had drug resistance training.
You okay, Ocelot? You kind of phased through those bars. Oh, hell no. Suck it, Ocelot.
This isn't the time.
Enough horseplay. We got an emblem right over here. I don't know why the game kind of makes it out to be a big thing with giving me a hint as well as an award, but hey.
Looks like you've gotten used to working with Quiet. I don't see a problem with giving her some new weapons. I've already talked it over with the R&D team.
I don't know why he says we've gotten used to her, because I've never used her, but when you do visit her while she's in the cell, you do get bonus affection points with her, so maybe that was it.
Unit function added.
Being a scout sniper, there are two tasks you can give Quiet. The first is to infiltrate an outpost ahead of you and scout out the enemy's positions. The second is to send her to a sniping position and have her cover your infiltration. The kind of sniper support she'll provide will depend on the weapon you give her. Of course, this is all assuming she's willing to follow orders.
So yeah, we can develop different kind of rifles for Quiet to use while she supports us. We also got some alternate costumes with her. One that puts blood on her, one that makes her silver, and one that makes her gold. Those are some very classy icons, Kojima. So at the end of this video, I'm going to go ahead and throw in the last clip of interrogating Huey that I couldn't fit in through the normal video. Hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you all next time.
Dr. Clark works for ATGC, and they have connections to DARPA. Cypher couldn't function without the communications network DARPA's built. Meaning, Cypher has to be a part of the Pentagon. Or at least, the two are joined at the hip. DARPA is a driving force behind human cloning. It's a pretty high priority project for them. And this Dr. Clark, some say he's a pivotal player in Cypher. But that's not all. Every cell nucleus in an organism contains the genetic information for that organism. Think of it as a blueprint for life. Clark appears to be working on how to decode this information and rearrange it at will. If you could do that, it would mean being able to custom design human beings for specific purposes. Can you believe that? Suppose for a moment that this is all fact. A man of your talents, if your genetic information died with you, That would be a terrible loss for mankind. But what if mankind could preserve you for future generations by cloning you?
All right, enough. I get the idea.
Look, I know it's inductive reasoning, but this weapon to surpass Metal Gear they're developing in Africa, I believe it's something that uses this new technology. Speaking as a fellow scientist, it chills me to the bone.
That's rich coming from you.
If genes serve as our blueprint, then I wonder if they include an impulse that drives us to tweak the design. Can you imagine that? Genes, encoded with information that wants its children to decode it. Is life itself putting the direction of our next evolution in the hands of scientists? I guess it would take some real arrogance to believe that. And yet, it could be what Cypher's after.
I think you're barking up the wrong tree. But that was an interesting story. It'd make a good movie.
You have to believe me.
Where'd you hear all this anyway?
Where? I just overheard it in bits and pieces while I was forced to do that research for them.
Right.
Wait a minute. Look, I want to help you. I want to be of service here. I'm risking my life with this.
Is that so? Maybe it's time we brought someone else into the conversation.
No, not him. Not Ocelot. You can't do this.